snack. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, there are a lot of people on here.
All right, we will start off. How has your year been during all the craziness of the pandemic?
Oh my gosh. Well, I think I have to be grateful that, I had almost 10 months of rain before COVID really broke out in the United States. So I won May 2019. Lockdown started around May of this year. So I had a pretty full and complete reign, and I'm really grateful for that. And I just have to look for the silver lining in this experience. And it was that, I got 10 months. And after that, Zosie and I did spend a lot of time in the apartment together. So that was also fun. And and Kaylee, we started University United and were able to still connect with people, even virtually after we weren't able to travel.
Great. How was your experience hosting Miss Teen Prelims?
Oh my God, we had so much fun. And how great did Kaylee do? Oh my gosh. I think it was so exciting because we got to host together. And I think what you look for in hosts are people who have chemistry together and who, you have fun watching them together. And that was so much easier because I had like my sister up there with me. So I had a blast. It was really, really cool. I think hosting makes things go by so quickly, but I was glad that we still had the chance to see all of the girls, all the contestants, and see their gowns too. They did a really great job.
Great. And this was asked to Kaylee, but we'll ask you as well. What does being part of this class of MUO meant to you with respect to representation?
It's been incredible. And honestly, my answer is pretty similar to Kaylee's in that, I think winning and being a part of this legacy has been important. But also, just as a pageant fan and a Black woman, it has been incredible to see as a spectator. Because there are times when I'm just excited that this moment is happening, not because I'm in it, but because I get to see it. I get to, look on my Instagram page and on my feed is 5 queens of color holding their titles at the same time. I never imagined that would have happened. And I think it's the icing on the top of the cake that I get to be a part of it. That every time I see, those photos of us together or cartoons of us together, I'm in the photo too. I think that's a really cool moment.
Great. Next question that came in, I want to say I admire you for being a part of what is, for me, a historic year and a turning point in pageantry. What do you think are the qualities the winner of modern day Miss USA should have?
Oh, she's got to be flexible because none of us foresaw COVID and the way that it would affect our lives. And I think what helped each of us as title holders was understanding that our roles, our titles, our reigns were going to be different and being flexible in how our reigns would change. I was glad that our organization was innovative enough to start University United, to be forward thinking and try to figure out how we can connect with people virtually. I was doing this nationwide tour with Dress for Success, and obviously that stopped in March. And so instead of just sitting on our haunches and just ignoring the opportunity we had in front of us, they took it and were like, well, let's reach people virtually. Let's do some mock interviews, some resume review. And we did just that. So I'm glad that we had that. I'm just glad that we were forward thinking enough to be flexible. And I hope the next title holder does exactly that as well. She will fit right in if she's flexible and just as innovative as this organization is.
Great. I'm going to ask 2 questions in one here. What has been your favorite moment as Miss USA, and what will you miss most about Miss USA?
My favorite moment, you said as Miss USA or at Miss USA, like competition? As Miss USA? Ooh, it's hard to say. I think it's a tie between interviewing Oprah. I got to do that as an extra TV correspondent. And I mean, it's Oprah. She goes insane. I almost wanted to ask her for feedback afterwards. Like, how did things go for you? Was it okay? How can I do better? So that was definitely a really impactful moment. And the other moment that really ties it for me is I got to return to my undergrad university, the University of South Carolina, and lead the Gamecock cheer at our homecoming football game in front of 72,000 people. I replay that video of like me leading the cheer thousands of times because I'm like a hometown girl going back to my university in front of all these people. It was amazing. So I think that was really, really fun. I think those are tied my important moments. And then there was a second part to that question.
Yes. What will you miss about being Miss USA?
Free rent. I say that almost tongue in cheek, but no, for real. I think being Miss USA, I don't think people realize the resources you have access to as a national title holder. And one of those is that you get to live in the Miss Universe title holder apartment. You live with the Miss Universes. You have a spare bedroom so that when Miss Teen USA comes into town, she gets to stay there as well. And you get to build this sisterhood because of your closeness. Oh, sorry, there was a call coming through. You get to just really build that sisterhood because you live together. And I just really have to appreciate that. We get to work in close proximity with the Miss Universe organization itself and all of the hardworking people there. We get a salary, all of these incredible resources that we have access to just because you won Miss USA. So that I'll definitely miss, especially because I've already moved into my new apartment and I know what paying for New York rent is like, and it's not fun. So I'll definitely be missing that.
What is your plan after passing your crown?
Oh, my plan. So I'll be working full time as a correspondent based out of New York for Extra TV. I love working with Extra TV. They're incredible. They're the reason I've gotten to do some really cool interviews, like I said, with people like Oprah Winfrey, with Tom Hanks. Recently, I've got to talk to Vivica A. Fox, Jessica Simpson, Taye Diggs, Shaq, so many people who are incredible, really important people in our community. And so I think that's been really cool. I'm glad to do that. But I'm also represented by WME and have joined their speakers bureau, Harry Walker. So I'll also be doing some speaking engagements as well. So it's going to be a busy next year, working full time and also doing speaking engagements and things like that. But I'm glad and grateful.
Speaking of your interviews, has there been one that you've been the most starstruck over?
Besides Oprah, I don't think very many come close to her. But I think, there are certainly people who intimidate me. Like, I think it was Felicia Rashad. she's incredible. She's a legend, right? And so I remember the first time I was interviewing her, I think I did pronounce her name wrong initially. I think I said Felicia instead of Felicia. And she's such a hard read as a person. And so I'm like, oh my God, does she hate me now? So she was legendary, and she definitely had me nervous when I was talking to her. Beyond her, probably Tina Jackson. Tina Knowles Jackson, Beyonce's mom, Miss Tina Lawson. She was incredible. She was really, really cool. Another person who's like almost a hard read, but was just so sweet. Loved talking to her. So I think, out of the recent interviews that I've done, I think they had me the most starstruck and awestruck. And, I was just glad they were still really, really nice people.
Great. And what do you want your greatest legacy to be as Miss USA and as Cheslie?
It's so hard to say. Obviously it's been really important to me that I've been a part of this, legacy of queens of color. That's obviously been really, really important to me. But beyond that, I have loved that, I was the first practicing attorney to win the title of Miss USA. And I think that was significant because there's so many people who still, even today, despite all of the accomplished, well-rounded, high-achieving Miss USAs we've had, think that we're just bobbleheads walking around in, a really one-dimensional swimsuit competition. And so I think when a lawyer like me won, people sat up and thought, oh my gosh, there are smart people who do this. And I'm like, yes. So I spent a lot of my year talking not just about me as an attorney, but, my Miss Massachusetts 2019 who graduated from Harvard with her MBA and Harvard undergrad, with, talking about my Miss California USA 2019 who worked for Google. I talked about all these women constantly because I think we have to reinforce year after year that these are well-rounded women who look to this organization so that they can elevate their own platforms, not just because they just want to show off their bodies. That's a really fun and important part of it too. Swimsuit is like my favorite part of the competition. And obviously it's a time where you can show off the hard work that you put into your body. But I think, as my legacy, I hope that people remember, smart women do these competitions and they do them because you get access to important resources and opportunities like the ones I've had.
And we have one more question. Time for one more question with Cheslie.
Everyone.
Well, we might not need one more. We might be done.
That's it. Thank you so much.